Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Muhamad Satrio, NPM 2015061055. I'm afraid to speak English. People will laugh at me. What if I start a conversation with a native speaker and I suddenly forget words? What if I just can't support a conversation? Like, I want to be able to use my English. I have so many fears. What should I do? Hey guys, welcome to Muhamad Satrio. Today we are going to talk about this question that arise in your head whenever you are confronted with a situation to speak a native speaker in English. I just wanna say, like, first of all, I am pretty sure you heard that many times. It's just all in your head. But I know we need to get off deeper and talk about your fears, because I had those fears. Like, even now when I speak Indonesian, because I'm a perfectionist, I get very nervous because I know I make mistakes and I know I forget words and I know everything like this happens and my face turns red and I just it actually start happening like when I'm relaxed. My Indonesian is a lot better. Like, if I'm in an environment just talking to friends or just talking to someone at a store, it will be like really smooth English. When I start thinking like, oh my god, like this is one of the reason I stopped recording videos about Indonesian, just because it's been declining and I have those fears. But I also have them in English. But with English, I understood that English is a tool, is an instrument that I use to improve my life. And without it, I want to be able to achieve my new goals. I want to be able to get to new levels of whatever YouTube or my company's development. So today, I'm gonna start with fear number 1. People are gonna laugh at me. The only time I've been laughed at in terms of my English is when, like, live in real life. Like, I get mocked about my accent a lot on social media, but it happens because I got hundreds of thousands of views, and I understand that even kittens get disliked on YouTube, and there will be people who are unhappy with whatever I'm doing, and just because I'm doing it, they will be posting bad comments and hating me for whatever I do. But I also understand sometimes it's actually good to have that feedback, because people tell me, oh, Muhamad Satrio, this was wrong, this press wasn't correct, but they are not laughing at me. They are telling me how to improve, and I accept that with gratitude. So the only time I've laughed at actually happened when I was talking to my friend and I told him I was so hooked up with this person. Like, I wanted to say that we are really connected with a person, but I use a phrasal verb to hook up with someone, and it actually means have a sexual relationship, and it's not what it was, not what it's mean. And another time, it happened recently on Instagram. I came to a Bahasa store and I post a story that I missed his meat. And meat in American conversational English, when you say I missed his meat, means is I missed his penis. Again, people laugh at me, but I thought it was funny. Like, it's not like an issue like DMs people, oh my god, Satrio, it's a second meaning. It's not like they are angry at me for making this mistake. It was like, a friendly advice. So I've never ever had like people real life like look at me like say, oh my god, your English is so bad, what are you doing here? Never ever happened in my life. I started practicing English at the age of 14, and I was hanging out with really mean, like teenagers can be really mean, and they can tell really bad things in your face. But never has that ever happened to me, because people understand that I'm making an effort to be understood. They understand that I come from a completely different culture and that I never spoken English my parents or to my grandparents. So the only exception here in social media. Like if you are speaking English in social media, just be ready to get those hate comments. And even if you are perfect in English, even if you are 120 out of 120 on TOEFL and you post a video how you got the score, you will still, like if it goes viral, you will still get comment from people, it's impossible, your English is not good enough, etc. Like there will always be people on social media hating you, but in real life there's like this tiny chance it's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen, guys. Native speakers, especially Americans, especially British people, are very friendly. In real life, people who I met, people who I talked to in English, even when I was intermediate, they're really friendly and really supportive too. It's all in our heads, and I think if you have this fear in English, like people will laugh at you, you probably have it in other aspect of your life. So it's just another reason for you to sit down with yourself and think about, like, I don't have to be liked by everyone. And again, I am a person who has this feeling all the time. I wanted to be liked by everyone. I am fighting this. Like once I started my channels, I realized I cannot be liked by everyone. But it was really hurting me every time I read something negative about myself. And it took me a while to understand, to realize that my goal is to use my talents, is to grow as an entrepreneur, YouTuber, whatever, as a mom, and do the best that I can. What other people think about me is other people's business. They have their own understanding of reality, they have their own experience. Maybe they just have a bad day, but it doesn't have anything to do with me. And if you want to dig deeper in this problem, I really advise you to read a book, The Courage to Be Disliked. It's like one of those books that I started reading last year. I think last year I had this, personality crisis, but I was like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do it, I'm afraid to do this, because people will comment and they will be unhappy with what I do. And I started just doing a lot of psychology research, and I started reading a lot of books, and that was one of the books that really helped me. Like it just talks about how you can control other people's emotions, you can control what they think of you. What you have to do this is focus what you can do the best. Is focus on your goals and start and achieve them. Another thing I could recommend watch the one on Netflix. It talks just about this woman entrepreneur whose little rattles, and she's not like a role model that I want you to follow, but it's just talk about like how she deals with all the problem that arise. When I was thinking like if I were at her place, I would have definitely given up, but she continued going. I really encourage you to read this book, to watch the one on Netflix, and to just read interviews related to this topic, because this would help you in your life in general, not just with English. Of course, you will realize that the majority of people will look at you, and if they will, is it their problem? It's not your problem. You are doing your best, you are practicing your English, you are putting effort into being understood by people who don't even speak your language and don't even make it an effort to learn your language. Okay, psychology class is over. Let's move up to some practical aspects regarding other things that you can do. So there is another fear. What if the conversation gets too complicated and I want to be able to support it? Also get this fear, like for example, again, I can really relate to this in English right now because my language is pretty advanced to talk about all kind of topics, but with Indonesian I can totally relate. And when people start asking me about business, I understand that I will start a conversation, I will talk about my company, but if they start digging deeper, I will be like, oh my god, this is too complicated. And in 2018 I had to have a surgery in Indonesian, and I was surprised. I was actually able to communicate with doctors and nurses about medical stuff, because basically when we talk about English, we have 1000 words to make up 86% of the conversation. And what you really need to know, if you know those 1000 words, if you go into specific conversation, can always ask for definition of like specific word. So it was in Germany doing that surgery. I was like, oh, and what is this in Indonesian? I can say that in English, or I could show you on Google. And once I learned like 5 or 7 words that I needed that were related to the surgery, the conversation become really easy, because you don't need to know like the whole idea of surgery, medical, business, vocabulary to support an advanced conversation. All you need is those 1000 words. And also, if you're like, oh, I don't know how many words I know right now, this doesn't actually matter. If you understand this video, that means you know enough words to support a conversation. So start practicing, and if you forget a word, if you don't know the term, if you forget word, you can just Google it on your phone with Google Translate and show your party this word, and you will be totally fine. And this is, by the way you will learn this word really fast. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, a resource that I keep recommending to you guys, and they have an amazing course about self-care that I want you to explore. It is a short course. It will take around an hour to complete, but it goes through the things that we talked about in more detail. It starts about how you react to people that surround you. The course is called Revolutionary Self-Care, Embrace, Nurture, and Grow Your Authentic Self. And it starts about things that we have already read about in this video in more detail, like how to take risks, how to ask for help, how to find your authentic voice, how to be yourself instead of trying to follow other people's guidelines, instead of trying to do the things that other people expect you to do. Just follow your gut. Like, check out that course. And if it's the first time you heard about Skillshare, Skillshare is this amazing online learning community for creative, where millions of people come together to take the next step in their creative journey, explore new skills, deep in existing passion, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare has been created specifically for learning. That means that there are no ads, and they constantly add new classes for the premium members. And it costs less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1000 followers who hit a link below will get free trial of their premium membership. That means that you can take a course that I've recommended completely for free. Just go there and explore the power of those short classes. They are really straight to the point. And please take the course that I've recommended if you are experiencing this problem with like overthinking what other people think of you. Again, the link is below. The first 1000 of my subscribers get access to a free trial of Skillshare premium membership. Now let's continue with the video. Another question is that, what if I feel shy? What if I stop and freeze? Okay, this can happen as well if you are too nervous about the conversation. The trick that helps me a lot is to pretend that you are someone else, because again, stopping and freezing has to do something with what's going on with you internally. Like maybe you are again thinking that people are gonna laugh at you, and just there are so many thoughts in your head that you can just process them. So imagine that you are a different person. You are probably, if you are speaking to a native speaker, you are probably in a new country, nobody knows you, and when this conversation is over, you will part ways with this person. So try to pretend you are your favorite movie character. Try to pretend you are an American. If you are in America, try to pretend that you are this famous blogger that you really like. I don't know, to try to pretend this to be someone else. Just for this conversation, it just your face grow, and it helps you become more confident when you speak. What if I offend someone? There's another fear, and one thing I want to remember here in that when we talk to a person, people pay attention to our body language, to our facial expression or expressional, and even if you say something incorrect in English, they would understand you didn't really mean it, and also they would understand, like if they tell you about something and you don't understand, but you just say yes, and a lot of time people will tell you but you didn't understand, right? And they will explain in another way. It's okay to say, oh, I didn't mean that, sorry, was that offensive, because my English is not good enough. It's okay. But if you are smiling, if you are open, then people will understand 100% that you didn't mean to offend them. That it was like, oh my god, I'm sorry, that is something that we are used to in our culture or mixed up the world. People won't understand. Now let's wrap up this video with a couple of tips. If you have an important conversation in English coming up, maybe you have an interview with a university, or I remember when we were preparing for a combinator interview is an accelerator here in Silicon Valley. The worst mistake that you can do is actually overthinking. It makes sense to prepare, it makes sense to go through questions that were asked before in this kind of environment, like go talk question that university asked during the interview, go through question that people are normally asked, etc. But I would say take your time, prepare for 2 hours, but don't take too long, because when it takes too long, when I take day, we over prepare for a combinator interview, and instead of relaxing before it, instead of just catching the vibe of Silicon Valley, we were just brainstorming how we are gonna fight this small company that's trying to do the same things, and people there didn't even know about it. And like now, when I look back at it, it's important to know what you are talking about, like to tell your story, to tell I don't know why you're interested in this, so that university, this or the subjects, but don't overthink, like they will probably ask basic question, or if they ask some complicated question, it is almost impossible to predict what they are going to ask. So learn some basic things, but then let yourself relax. Watch something in English, just put yourself into that environment before that conversation or before the test, so that your brain switches from your language into English. It will be a lot easier. The next tip, be never and do it anyways. Michael Jordan once said, being nervous isn't bad, it just means something important is happening. So my tip here, and I did an interview with Justin Han on Silicon Valley Girl, and he said, don't be afraid of your emotion, don't suppress them. Tell yourself, okay, I am nervous about this conversation I'm gonna have in English. It is fine, I understand that I am nervous because it is important conversation. I understand that my English is maybe not good enough, and even practice a lot, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and I'm gonna use this conversation as practice. And after the conversation, I'm gonna sit down and think what was good and what was bad. I was really bad at like analyzing things afterwards, because I'm this perfectionist, and when I shoot a video, I don't want to see it just because I understand I could have done better. And this is an endless process, but I actually took myself to look at numbers. I taught myself to actually sit down and think what I did wrong and what could be done better. And it helps a lot with your progression. So after the conversation, sit down with yourself and think, did I do everything I could do? And if not, just have some tips for yourself for the next conversation. And I have this note in my iPhone where I just put in things that I could do better in my videos, and I have those tips that I always look at before an important video, and just remind myself that I make this mistake. It is okay, it's good that I know about them, and I'm gonna be better in the next video. The next tips, do it until it feels normal. Just keep having this conversation in English. Keep being shy, keep being nervous. At some stage you are gonna be tired of it, especially if you are in an English speaking country, or if you are applying to university. Like I have a lot of people here in the UAS who are applying in the universities, mostly children of my friend. Oh my god, I'm so old. But they are applying to like 24 colleges at once. And you know, in the video number 10, you just get tired of it and you just get used to it and you don't feel nervous anymore. So keep doing. Also adopt the growth mindset, something where already talks about like I'm bad speaking English, my action not good enough yet, but I'm using this as way to practice, and I'm using this exchange conversation as my way to improve. Learn to look at yourself. You know, life is simple. We overcomplicate so many things. We tend to think that this meeting is game changer. This is not. You can always do another meeting. There's so many people in the world. There's so many opportunities. And if you don't get any result from the upcoming conversation, doesn't matter. You can do a lot more conversation. The most important thing is that you have yourself, you have your time, you have your brain that helps you speak English. Like, don't create problem for yourself. Enjoy life. We only have one life, and I want you to go ahead and enjoy it and look at everything from a positive perspective, especially with some things like smaller like conversation with a native speaker. Come on, it's gonna be fine. Life is easy. Smile. Tell yourself that if not today, you are gonna make it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, you are gonna make it in a week. It is fine. You will get there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video up to the very end. Please subscribe this channel, and if you have friends who are struggling to speak English or any other language, please share this video with them, and I will see you very soon in my next videos. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.